Most of the roles we hold in life require some training, accreditation, or at least have an instruction manual. You can't buy any gadget, no matter how small and insignificant, without instructions. And we have to pass tests to get our licence, to serve good coffee, or to engage in any skilled or professional task. Yet managing most relationships involves no required training and has no essential manual. And if we do decide to seek a manual or guidance on the topic, there's just so much available, all with differing research and perspectives, making it quite often very overwhelming. Relationships are complex and they're tricky, and yet they're such a key aspect of our lives and our functioning, and are in fact critical to our mental health and well-being. We could be talking about marriages, parent and child relationships, friendships, and work colleagues, all of which consume so much of our time and attention, can be a source of such joy and meaning, and yet can also cause so much pain and challenge. Navigating relationships has never been more challenging as we manage the increased issues of isolation, distance and change that 2020 and beyond have created. And if I were to pull out one illustration about managing this space that I've found most useful in my career, it would be Stephen Covey's concept of the emotional bank balance. We all understand pretty clearly how a bank account works. If we don't make deposits of cash, then there's nothing to withdraw if we need to. And if we keep making withdrawals without deposits, then eventually the bank will foreclose on us and we will lose all opportunity to engage with the account at all. It's shut down. And if we do this too often, our credit rating drops so badly that in fact it's very hard to access an opportunity to deposit again down the track, even if we want to. Interestingly, our relationships work exactly the same way. If we don't regularly invest of ourselves into our relationships, including our self-care relationship, then when we come to tough times, there's nothing there to fall back on. We all know better than ever that life is going to throw us curveballs. We might lose our job or hit hard times, or there may be some big stressor that hits our life. Or sometimes we find managing a specific person particularly hard. All of these times mean that our capacity to give out or give of ourselves is impacted, and we need to fall back at the nest egg of deposits we've made into our loved ones or colleagues until we're stronger again. If we've spent our time in our relationships making those solid and regular deposits, then our investment will pay dividends when life happens, and we will have enough in the emotional bank to make withdrawals required and still manage to stay well connected to them and strong in relationship. But if we've actually made too few deposits, or in fact been withdrawing too frequently, then we may find our relationships don't hold up very well when the tough stuff happens. This works the same way with our marriages and our parent-child relationships. If we're not making time to deposit meaningfully into these connections, then they'll not have the balance to stabilise a family or hold together when the need to make a withdrawal comes along. So what does a deposit look like, you might ask? Well, it can be anything from a genuine smile and hello to a quick shoulder hug as you pass them by, or a well done or a good job for even the most simple tasks. It might be some quality and individual time with a child, taking time out for yourself or your marriage, or asking someone's opinion on an issue. So many things can contribute to this bank balance. And even very small gestures can constitute deposits. The trouble is, we don't often realise how many withdrawals we actually make in a day. Whenever we're too busy to answer a question, or when we dismiss someone's opinion, or nag them to do something. Whenever we offhandedly make a sarcastic remark or fail to notice something they've done, even if it doesn't seem important to us, we're making withdrawals. And if you're anything like me, on a busy day in our household or in my workplace, those withdrawals could start from when I yelled at a child in the morning to eat their breakfast and put their dishes in the sink, and can keep going in subtle ways throughout the whole day. I could get to the end of the day, say a quick goodbye as I leave the office, or even a quick I love you as a child gets into bed, and hope that this has made up for the 256 challenging moments and withdrawals in that day. We can so often be tired and stretched and dealing with our own stuff. that being conscious of the amount of withdrawals or deposits we're making into our relationships and even into ourselves sometimes just feels too hard. And we then risk finding ourselves drawing on an emotional bank account that is overdrawn. So often, people wonder why they don't seem to have the strength of relationship to manage a family situation, or they claim to be surprised that things have fallen apart in a marriage, when in fact, their account or relationship may have been overdrawn for quite some time. So I would encourage you to take a bit of time to assess where your key relationships might be sitting in terms of their account balance right now. It might be useful to try and work at being more aware of whether you're depositing and when you're withdrawing. Perhaps even making some notes about some key deposits you could be making into your own well-being and that of your primary relationships, both at work and at home. Ask your children or your partner or your colleague what would feel like good deposits for them and commit together to some healthy banking. Sometimes just some intentionality and focus can make a real change. Although it takes time, investing in these emotional bank accounts will ensure that there is a solid nest egg of connection and stability when life gets tough.